Welcome to this week's episode of Understanding Branding. Today we will be talking about adapting a brand to a different market. So you have a brand and there is a market. How will you adapt your brand to a different market? And that's what we'll be discussing, how we'll be able to do it. This is Understanding Branding. My name is Ziba. Adapting a brand for different market, and that's our discussion for the week. And what do we mean by that? So you tailor your brand message, your identity, your strategy to fit the culture that you want find yourself, the new area or the group that you find yourself, or your market uh, point that you find yourself. You make sure your brand is in line or fill their cultural, then their economic, and then the social context. It fills that gap. And this process ensures that your brand resonates with the local authorities whilst you maintain its core identity. So your message that you want to carry out, your identity, the perception that you want them to have, make sure it fills the gap or it fills in their culture differences or their economic situations. And that will help them or help your brand to resonate with the local audience whilst you maintain your core identity. And that is adapting your brand for a different market. Now, how will we be able to achieve it, to adapt our brand for a different market? Now, the first point that we will talk about is to understand the local market. You need to understand the local market. Other than that, you won't be able to penetrate or to adapt your brand for that market as well. So first you need to understand them. How do you understand them? Understand their local customs, understand their traditions and values. You need to understand each one of them, and you can only do so when you understand. And how will you understand? And that's when you make a research. So you research about the cultural differences, and that will help. Now, in researching the cultural differences, you also need to study your competitors. Yes, in every competition or in every market, there is a competition. So you need to study your competitors. Look at how the local competitors position themselves and what gaps exist that you can fill. So study your competitors, see how they've positioned themselves in the market, and then see the gap that probably they are not filling and how you can fill that gap in the market. And that will help to adapt your brand for that market. So in understanding the local market, research the cultural differences, and then also study your competitors. And that will help you to resonate your brand with the local authorities. Modify visual identity. Modify visual identity. Now, what do you mean by that? Now, so you look at your colors, your probably your image, and then the symbols that you use in your branding. Make sure it resonates with your local authorities or local community. Make sure it is culturally appropriate. So the images that you use, the symbols that you use, it should be locally or culturally appropriate. Other than that, you'll find it difficult to penetrate to that business. Adapt your logo, your packaging, everything to meet the local preferences. Whilst you're doing that, make sure that your core brand identity continue to stand. Do not stray from it. In meeting their local preferences, you are able to continue to be on your lane, maintaining your core brand identity. Adapt marketing channels. Adapt marketing channels. Now, you need to understand the channels that are appropriate for that market as well. Bear in mind that a channel may be effective for this market, but that same channel will not be effective for another market. So try to understand the channels or the marketing channels that are appropriate for each market. So if it is TikTok that is best for this kind of market, will that same channel be perfect for that market? So make sure you adapt your marketing channels. That helps to be able to know the kind of channels to use for what markets. As well, you can also collaborate with the local influencers. They have the numbers in that locality. So you can also partner them so as to be able to convey your idea or your brand message to them. And that will resonate with them more to be able to get your needed audience that you want. Now, the next one that we want to talk about is to engage with local authorities. And that you can only do that when you build relationships. So you have to build a relationship. And in building relationship, you need to engage with the local communities. And you can do so through partnership, through sponsorship, or even participate in local events. When they have an event in that locality, you can partner them, you can even sponsor, and you become part of them. And that will help for you to be able to adapt to their market in that locality. Gather feedbacks, right? So as you build the relationship with the local communities, as much as possible to get feedbacks from the local customers so as to help you to refine your approach or to refine your approach and address any issues. The last one probably we want to consider on how we'll be able to adapt our brand for different markets is maintain brand consistency. Maintain brand consistency. Yes, it is true you are trying to adapt to a local community or you are trying to adapt your brand to a different market. But whilst you are trying to do all those things, maintain your brand's core value and identity. Consistency in brand essence helps to build a strong and recognizable global brand. So if you are not consistent with your brand, the message, your core value, your brand identity, if you are not consistent with it, my friend, forget it. You will not get to the audience that you want to get. So you need to be consistent with your brand message, brand identity, even though you are trying to penetrate, but make sure you are consistent with it. And that will help easier to resonate with your audience, the local audience that you want to get. And that will help build your brand and then also help them know the brand that they want to associate with. So these are some of the ways that we'll be able to adapt our market or adapt our brand for the different markets. So by carefully balancing localization with consistency, you can effectively adapt your brand to various markets. Now, making it relevant and appealing to a diverse global audience whilst perceiving its unique identity. This has been Understanding Branding. My name is Ziba.